They say some strangers come into your life for only a moment, but their impact stays forever. For MedaLyn, that moment came on the coldest night of her life, delivered by a man she never even saw. MedaLyn Carter never forgot the smell of burning rubber. It clung to her memory the way winter clings to a window pane, cold, sharp, and impossible to ignore. 2 years earlier, her entire life had changed on a deserted highway. Her car had skidded on black ice, flipped twice, and landed against a guardrail. She woke up the next day in the hospital with bruises, stitches, and a single piece of information. "You're alive because someone pulled you out," the nurse had said. A passerby. He refused to give his name. That stranger lived in her thoughts like a shadow she could never touch. 2 years later, life was calm again. MedaLyn owned a small café called Sunrise and Steam, a warm little place in a quiet western town. She opened every morning by turning on the amber lights, heating cinnamon rolls, and whispering a silent prayer into the air. "Whoever you are, thank you. I hope you're okay." The world kept moving, but that one act of kindness shaped everything she had become. On a brisk November morning, the bell above the door chimed. MedaLyn looked up. A man stepped in, tall, brown-haired, wearing a heavy coat dusted with early snow. His shoulders were slightly tense, as if life had taught him to expect something bad at any moment. His eyes were gentle but tired, and his steps were slow and cautious. "Good morning," MedaLyn said warmly. He nodded. "Morning." He took the seat by the window, ordered a simple black coffee, and sat quietly, staring at the snowfall. Nothing unusual, except something about him tugged at her chest. She couldn't explain it. The next day, he came again. Same time, same seat, same black coffee. And the next, and the next. He never asked for anything more, never talked to anyone, never stayed long. But MedaLyn noticed things. The way he winced when lifting his right arm. The way he discreetly massaged a scar near his collarbone. The way he always scanned the room before sitting, like a man who lived with ghosts. Once, she gently asked, "Is your shoulder bothering you?" He smiled faintly, an exhausted kind of smile. "Old injury. I'll be fine." MedaLyn didn't push, but she cared. More than she meant to. One evening, a severe snowstorm swept through town. The wind howled against the cafe windows. Most places had closed early, but MedaLyn stayed a little late to clean and prep for the next day. She was wiping down a counter when she realized he was still there. The quiet man. The one with the tired eyes. He was sitting in his usual seat, shoulders tense, staring at his hands. "Hey," MedaLyn said softly, "we're closing soon." He nodded, stood up, and suddenly stumbled, gripping the table. "Whoa, sit, sit," she rushed to him. "Are you dizzy?" He tried to wave her off. "It's nothing, really." But when she touched his right shoulder to support him, he inhaled sharply, painfully. "Please," she whispered, "let me help, even just for tonight." He hesitated, then slowly sank back into the chair. The storm outside raged. The silence inside softened. She brought him ginger tea, set a small heater by his feet, draped a blanket over his shoulders. After a long pause, he finally spoke. "My name is Evan." His voice was low, almost hesitant. "Evan Holt." MedaLyn smiled gently. "I'm MedaLyn." His eyes flickered, like her name meant something to him. "I know," he whispered. Her heartbeat stumbled. "You know me?" Evan swallowed, his throat tight. "I've been trying to figure out how to say this, but I guess this is the moment." MedaLyn stepped closer, confusion thick in her chest. "Evan, what are you trying to tell me?" He looked down, hands trembling slightly. "I'm the one who pulled you out of your car that night." The world around her stopped. Her breath vanished. Her knees nearly buckled. He continued, voice breaking. "I was driving home from a long shift. Saw your car on fire. I didn't think. I just acted. Broke the window, dragged you out. Your car exploded seconds later." His hand pressed against his injured shoulder. "This got destroyed during the rescue." MedaLyn covered her mouth as tears filled her eyes. He looked away, shame in every line of his face. "I left before the ambulance came. I didn't want recognition. I didn't want anyone calling me a hero. I've made too many mistakes in my life to be seen as one." She shook her head, hard. "Evan, you saved me." Her voice cracked. "You saved my life."
"I didn't want to interfere with your life," he whispered. "I just wanted to make sure you were okay. So I came here, quietly, sat where I could see you without being seen." MedaLyn wiped her tears with trembling fingers. "You've been here all this time? Alone? Carrying this by yourself?" He shrugged his injured shoulder slightly. "Some things are easier to carry alone." "No," she whispered firmly. "They aren't." She walked behind the counter, grabbed a key, returned to him, and placed it gently in his palm. "This cafe is open to you. Any day, any time. You don't have to sit alone anymore." Evan stared at the key, stunned. "You don't even know me," he said quietly. MedaLyn smiled, soft, emotional, honest. "I know enough." His eyes filled instantly. He lowered his head and broke. Not loudly, not dramatically. Just the quiet collapse of a man who had carried silence for far too long. And MedaLyn placed her hand on his trembling back. "You deserve kindness too, Evan." Over the next weeks, Evan became part of the cafe's heart. He fixed shelves, repaired old lights, shoveled snow from the entrance before sunrise. And every morning he ordered the same black coffee, but now he smiled when he did. One evening, as the golden cafe lights glowed across the room, Evan looked at her softly. "Why do you treat me like I matter?" MedaLyn stepped closer, her voice warm. "Because you do. You mattered before you ever saved me." Evan's eyes glistened, and something beautiful, something healing, finally settled between them. Sometimes the people who save us don't just pull us from wreckage, they walk us into a new life, too. Kindness is never forgotten, and love often begins where healing begins. Thank you for listening to this beautiful story. You're officially part of the DLYN Stories family. Come back tomorrow for another emotional story of kindness, healing, and unforgettable second chances.